You have to test your patience levels with this one. You can see how quickly that solder is going around our bezel. We're hammering very tiny texture onto the surface. That very soft matte satin finish. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. We have a jewelry making video, and this time we're playing with a moonstone. And this small tiny stone has such a beautiful sheen that I had to create something with it, something small and dainty. But I truly love dainty jewelry, so you know, you have to test your patience levels with this one. And I want that bezel setting would be like a star of the show. So we will have that contrast texture with the bezel setting. Bezel setting should be shiny and shining with that moonstone. And that whole eye, I want to have a bit like mattified with a texture. So we will see how that will go, but I'm excited and let's get started. And we're starting everything with this gorgeous moonstone, and we have to inspect the stone. For this one, I'm using my oval pliers because I love to create the shape with my tools first and then come to the stone. This way I can control my shape more, and I truly prefer to work like that. Then I'm measuring my stone and cutting my bezel wire where it overlaps. Then I'm connecting my both ends of bezel wire and squeezing the middle part more because I want to have the flushest connection as I can get. It's a must for perfect soldering. Now we're soldering that bezel setting. I put a solder chip under my bezel setting and I soldered with the solder ball as well, so you can choose one way or another. Putting chip under will always be the easiest choice. In this case, my solder chip probably was oxidizing quicker, so I soldered with the solder ball because we need to solder either way. After soldering and pickling, we want to make sure that we have a flat bottom of our bezel setting because we will want to solder that on our design later. You can tell by twisting and looking under your bezel setting when it's flat because it will shine differently, and you will see all the walls will have the same thickness around. Now we're putting our bezel setting on the side and we're cutting the main design that we need for our beautiful moonstone necklace. I want to announce that this video is sponsored by GRANDE, which is a big jewelry supply store where I'm buying a lot of my supplies from. It's very easy to shop on the site. They have basically everything that you would want in your jewelry making, from metals you want to work with, tools, supplies, like everything you need for your jewelry making. And they're giving you a code with $20 off of your shipping price. And yeah, thank you, GRANDE, for sponsoring this video. So this one is pretty easy because we're cutting rhombus and we're creating eye shape out of it. I found it easier to do it that way than to cut it exactly the shape that we need first. Because in this case, if we have a curve, it's harder to tell where the center is. And when we have the corner, we always know where the center is. So it's easier to navigate when you're actually going through filing and sanding to keep the same shape going. And then we're coming back and making those curves where we want, and maybe we don't want that big of a curve than we thought that we want in the first place. So in this case, we actually have more options how to navigate our beautiful necklace. In sanding, the light will show you everything. So always make sure that you have a good lighting. That shine will show you everything. How flat your piece is, how much you actually have to file. Maybe your angle is not correct as well. Just look at that light hitting your piece. Now, when our sides are flat, we can finally make our rhombus to actually look as an eye. So we need to curve our sides. While I'm filing, I'm doing that in steps. I'm filing a bit, coming back, filing a bit again, because you can't undo this step. Better to be very slow and keep that accuracy going. Now our design needs small balls. For balls, I like to use either ball wires or loose ball necklaces. Just be careful if you're cutting the loose one because balls are empty inside and they have small holes where the string is going through all of them. Small ball wire, in this case, it would be way better to use that one. The biggest ball I used was 1.2 millimeter thickness, and the smallest one would be 1. You can be very customized when you're choosing sizes, but I'm just saying what I was using here. Soldering was very easy when it comes to balls, when usually it's not. And I was surprised why it went so easily. So probably because those balls were empty, I got the chance to kind of stick it. So that was interesting. It felt like some kind of magnetic electricity was going on. But it truly was a blast. It just sticked on my sheet and it was holding on there. I was just going very carefully with my fire just to not to move anything. And then straight away I was soldering bezel setting. When we prepare that flat bottom for our bezel setting, it's a blast to solder. You can see how quickly that solder is going around our bezel. That's how you know that you did a good job on preparing your piece, because preparation is everything in soldering. Soldering is just the last step to connect everything, but preparation is the key. Before sanding, I soldered a few links that I could connect my chain with my Moonstone necklace. That step is very optional how you want to hang your piece, so it's up to you. And when it comes to sanding process, you have to be pretty careful because we have very tiny details here. And with sanding, everything can be cut off. If you're using very harsh abrasives, you have to control your hand, how you're coming to your piece. Always polishing and sanding, it's all about the pressure. Well, all of the jewelry making is all about the pressure. So it really comes with the practice. The more you do, the better you will become because your hand will get used to the pressure for certain tasks that you will be doing. For example, I was sanding off a lot of my material before I got better with sanding. It was a big struggle for me, but you overcome a lot of things. But you have to do these tasks way more just to get better at that. If you're in the beginning stage of making jewelry, just keep saying that to yourself that one day I will wake up and everything will become way easier. It will, and it does. For this piece, I wanted a texture. So we're hammering very tiny texture onto the surface around our moonstone. Moonstone is very see-through. It has just blue sheen when it catches the light. So I wanted to create a surface that it would be matte, but still we would have shine coming through. So this surface was perfect touch. I truly love that decision. And now we're setting that moonstone. Moonstone is very soft stone to work with. That's why you don't want any thick bezel walls around it. It has to be pretty easy to hammer it on. If the wall is thinner, you can use just burnisher and burnish that metal on your moonstone. When it comes to me, I love to hammer my setting on. I have full control. I will link a video here where I'm explaining more how I'm doing that, but it's my favorite way to do it. I'm having all control. I'm not ruining my shape. The walls are the same thickness and I'm bending the metal the same way. That's why it looks so perfectly made after the setting. I truly love how it looks like. And then we're just cleaning everything off. If you bend it a bit more with your hammering, you can always sand it off and have a very shiny bezel setting. For this one, I just love how it looks like, the contrast of that very high shine on the top of the bezel setting and that very soft matte satin finish on that necklace itself. So good. And voila, we have a beautiful moonstone necklace. Okay, finally we have our piece finished and shiny and very pretty with that sheen. Like, look at that blue. It is pretty. And I love that we made that chain connected this way because it truly makes the piece look and hang differently. The way you will hang your necklace or earrings or whatever you're making will determine how the piece will be looking like. So I always recommend to play with simple pieces to hang it differently because it will get different character for sure. At least that's the way I see it. I love custom made feeling in pieces because it makes that unique looking, and I truly love that in my pieces. If you have questions or suggestions, let's meet in that comment section. And yeah, I hope you like it, and I will see you in my next one.